Well, let's return to one of our main stories now. Turkey's Prime Minister Binali Yildirim has held talks with the leaders of Iraq's autonomous Kurdish region, saying that they share economic and security goals, especially in the fight against Daesh and PKK. Let's get some analysis on that from Helin Sari Ertem. She's an expert on US foreign policy in northern Iraq. Thank you very much for joining us. What's your reading of the agreement these two countries have made?
Well, as an expert, I do very much appreciate the recent rapprochement efforts between Iraq and Turkey. And I think this is a kind of certain sign that both countries are trying to normalize their relations, which got worse, especially in the last couple of years. Looking at the date since 2014, we see that both countries had quite harsh statements against each other, especially regarding the Bashika military base, Turkish troops there, and the situation of the Turkomans, the PKK problem, and so on. So there are really many problems between the countries, but we see that both countries have finally come to a point of understanding that they need each other and they need to build, let's say, rebuild their relationship and increase their cooperation levels.
You mentioned the PKK, and of course northern Iraq has been used as a base by the PKK. What does this mean for the PKK in that part of northern Iraq now?
Well, PKK has been a national security problem of Turkey for more than 30 years. So I think Turkey has now come to a point of thinking that the basic problem before Turkey is the PKK problem and Daesh problem in the region. So apart from dealing with the other details of mutual relations, I think the countries of the region including Turkey, are trying to build a kind of strong understanding against about fighting against terror of the PKK or Daesh and so on. So the rebuilding of better relations between Turkey and Iraq will also help these countries to fight against terrorism in their countries, inside and of course outside, looking generally in the region.
We do seem to be seeing something of a geopolitical shift, don't we, in the region, with Turkey, for example, turning away from the West, from the US and Europe, more towards countries like Russia, and now repairing relations with Iraq. How significant is all this?
Well, I think I don't call it as a kind of foreign policy shift, but I think it's about coming to understanding the realpolitik necessities of the region. So Turkey is at the moment looking for support from regional countries and also from Russia. So Russia is a de facto regional country at the moment. So Turkey is trying to build better relations with these countries. As we can remember, looking at Prime Minister Yildirim's and President Erdogan's statements last year, they were talking about increasing the number of enemies and increasing the number of friends and decreasing the number of enemies in the region. So what they are doing at the moment is to increase the number of friends once again in the region, which is Iraq, which is Iran, which is Russia, and possibly Syria in the future. We don't know that. But all these regional countries have finally understood that their biggest threat at the moment is terrorism, the rising terrorism. And this affects their domestic policies, this affects their foreign policies. So I think their priority has finally come to fighting against all these terrorist groups in the region.
The terrorist group, of course, they're all agreed upon the need to defeat is Daesh. How important is that in this case?
I mean, the rapprochement between Turkey and Iraq will, of course, ease their efforts to fight against Daesh regarding the Mosul operation, let's say. So Mosul operation has been going on for a couple of months, and we have not yet seen ISIS being defeated in this region. So the cooperation, the increasing level of cooperation between these regional countries, including Turkey and Iraq, will of course help them to fight against ISIS in a more determined way.
Thank you very much indeed for joining us.